Welcome in, everybody, to the Fantasy Q&A show. Brian McFadden, co-founder of Legit Football, joined as always by Rich Jodice, the Pro Football Demon, and Kevin Phillip Fox, a.k.a. the Buffalo Trail. Looks like he's got some of those safety goggles from chemistry class in. What's up?
It's blue light, but I'll take safety goggles. This is for my own safety. It's my hater blockers.
Like he's
for my
about to
Bills
dissect
fan.
a frog, Rich.
Big time.
It's kind of how
That's
I
what
took
it
it.
looks like.
I don't know if you
time.
took a different interpretation of that.
Let's go.
Nobody wants to hear about my take on safety glasses. They're here for some fantasy Q&A. Here's how it works. If it's your first time here, we're going to spend the next hour answering whatever crazy questions you sit at us. Start, sit, trade advice, rankings, rest of season, which at this point, boys, is just, 2 regular season weeks for most leagues? And then the playoffs?
Yeah. It's time.
Playoffs?
Can't
Playoffs?
So fast it comes. I can't believe that.
I hate it.
So I have the honor of moderating this as well as moderating the chat. So
an honor. That's a term for it.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice. The best way to get your question 100% asked is to do the super chat on the Pro Football Demon YouTube channel. So just say that off the top. Don't get mad at me if you don't get your question answered. I'm going to do my best while also giving my own 2 cents. You want to make sure it gets in. Go to Pro Football Demon YouTube and do the super chat. Boys, are you ready to get started? Week 13.
Born ready, baby.
Let's go. Let's go.
Right.
Ready to argue with you guys tonight.
Oh, dude. So all
right
the
off
tweets
the
have
bat,
been firing me up all week.
Broncos fan 97. By the way, and I saw that you posted a video or a rant about this. It's not a bad time to be a Broncos fan for the first time in a while. So
it is not. No.
Shout out to Broncos fan 97. Puka, DK, Chuba Hubbard, or Hollywood Brown in the flex. So we got 4 choices here. Rich, we'll let you kick this one off.
Ooh, for me, it's because of the target share. I think it's going to be Puka, especially if it's PPR. I don't like DK against Dallas tonight. I'm not sold on Geno Smith anymore whatsoever. Chuba is just Chuba, and Hollywood Brown is. I thought Hollywood Brown was going to be wide receiver 1 the rest of the way. But I over Puka, no, I can't do it. So I'm going to go Puka.
I think the only reason I would lean Hollywood over Puka is matchup.
Yeah, Puka's faces the Browns, number 1 defense against wide receivers.
They lock people up. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's defense on paper is really tough, really intimidating, but the place to attack them is that secondary. So I don't hate the play of Hollywood here. Puka's not a bad play per se. I mean, he's been a little disappointing. The Puka mania, I think we can safely say that that's come to an end, right? Like
his target shares,
his volume hasn't really changed.
Yeah.
But is he still
dipped a little bit?
Top, 15 wide receiver in Dynasty? Do we still feel that way?
We could see Cooper Kupp, start to. He has not been the same Cooper Kupp, which means young Mr. Nakua could be the wide receiver 1 for the foreseeable future in LA. So if we're talking Dynasty, I'd still have him up there.
He's a hold in Dynasty.
Yeah, hold for sure, especially because we don't know the Rams QB situation in the future. DK's the obvious sit here, though. Geno after that Thanksgiving showing, who knows if he's healthy? Who knows if he's good as well? So I think I'm comfortable fading DK. And then Chuba, the Buccaneers, that's a fine. It's kind of like a break glass in case of emergency play. I don't feel great about it. I would go with Hollywood or Puka for sure.
I don't love any of these choices, just to say off the bat. Normally, I would say Puka. It is a tough matchup with the Browns. The way that teams like the Broncos were able to move the ball in the Cleveland defense was on the ground, not through the air. So DK is the most talented in this group, but that Seahawks, what is it? Geno Smith, the last 9 drives have not been touchdown drives.
He's been bad.
Chuba against the Steelers or Hollywood Brown. I guess I have to go Hollywood, but I don't love it. It's more like
I think Puka has the safest floor just because of the volume.
I'll say that. You know what?
PPR. I
wouldn't. You're right. He may not have a huge game, but that doesn't mean he won't get 7 targets, maybe 4 catches for 30-something yards, especially if it's full PPR. I'll give you 7-something points. I'm changing my answer. Let's go Puka Nacua. Let's go with the rookie sensation.
I love when I could sway Brian. Doesn't happen often.
It doesn't happen often. But when you make good points, Rich, then I listen. All right, we have our first super chat. Carter Ferris 07 said he asked this question last week and it paid off. Look at that, guys. We are doing community service. He's going to ask it again. Goff against the Saints or Stroud against the Broncos, Kev? Did you mute yourself?
I think he muted himself. He's
Yeah, I've been talking to myself over here. Come on. It's tough.
Amazing glasses.
That's what it is. I'm doing science experiments. It's a tough question because neither of them are great matchups. And Stroud has been setting the world on fire. He's so fun to start. I mean, when you start him on Sleeper, I have him in our legit football dynasty league. Thank you very much. And just the rolling.
Hey, where are you at in the playoff standings there?
Hey, whoa. TBD.
Okay.
But just when you have him starting and it's just every 5 minutes, CJ Stroud made a big play. CJ Stroud made a big play. CJ Stroud made a big play. It's awesome. It's so fun. The Broncos have been a tough.
Who are those big plays going to, by the way?
Just, your boy.
There we go.
Boy. Every time.
Gotta get a Tank Dell plug in every single time I can.
Love Tank Dell. So I think I would. Goff feels again because Stroud he's had a couple basement falling out games in recent weeks, but Goff. I mean, he was horrendous on Thanksgiving. So this is kind of like these two QBs. They've got you here where you are now, but they're kind of both a little dicey. I'd go with Stroud. I'd do a gut play and go with Stroud.
I'm going with Stroud, and it's not a gut play. It's just I think CJ Stroud over Jared Goff every day of the week right now. CJ Stroud over mostly everybody except perhaps Mahomes. Maybe. I might even start Stroud over Mahomes. The only one that I think I would consider starting over Stroud is probably Dak right now.
And Josh Allen, yeah, for sure.
Jordan
Love? The glasses, no. We got the stupid Robert Saleh Colgate commercial on. I can't watch it. Oh, what's going on?
It's over.
Why?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I actually, but I'm with Rich in that it actually wasn't a hard decision for me. I think Stroud has shown the volume. They pass the ball. It's like one of the most pass heavy offenses in the league. Against a Broncos defense, which let's be clear, has been very good lately. Like some of the metrics, if you just look at their season long, it doesn't look good because, when you get 70 points put up on you in one game, your metrics aren't going to look good for the rest of the season, but it's been good. But there's so many weapons. They're going to pass the ball. Denver's been playing really smart. So I do think this is a game that Houston will need to score points to keep up. So yeah, I'm going Stroud, and Saints are a solid defense. So it's not like Goff has a cupcake matchup either.
And I do need to clarify the basement falling out that I referred to with Stroud. I mean, we had 1 3-pick game. He was still a QB2 that week. And also we had one against Carolina. He had an atrocious game. I consider that his outlier this year, but the basement falling out is not quite actually a basement. It's more like floor, like regular, like first floor type of situation.
And let's not forget that. Go ahead, Rich.
No, you can go.
I was just going to say, Rich is like, my point is it's not worth saying. If it's about Kevin's glasses, then I will allow it.
Please tee it up.
The Lions want to run the ball. The Texans want to pass the ball. So, I mean, right there, that's just from a volume opportunity on top of the talent and everything else. I think Stroud is the clear-cut choice. And Carter, I hope it pays off for you 2 weeks in a row.
Big time.
Isaac asks, I got Hall, Gibbs, Pacheco, and Swift for running backs. Who should I start / bench? Isaac, I'm going to need a little more context. How many running back positions do you have? Do you have flex positions? Are there wide receivers you're considering? Can you come back in the chat and let us know that so that we can give you some accurate advice?
I think we can probably. Are we going to keep it moving? Come back?
I'm he'll come back. I'll do my best to try to find it. B&A. So nice to said it twice. Wilson or Rice? I'm going to guess that's Garrett Wilson and Rashee Rice. We'll let you start with the Jet question here, Rich.
There you go.
Oh man, it's you have to go with in a situation. Don't shake your head, Kevin. In a situation like this, I think you have to go with the stud. I mean, even with the terrible offense and quarterback play the Jets have had, Garrett Wilson's still been good for 10 to 20 fantasy points per game. So I'm gonna go Wilson because there is that chance that he can just blow up, take 2 to the house. He's much more likely to do that than Rice is. Although Rice is emerging. I don't hate Rice, but I do think Wilson has the much higher upside.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with Demon there. Garrett Wilson really, even with god-awful quarterback play, has been pretty darn okay for fantasy this year. At times, even good, bordering on great. So Rashee Rice, I mean, you're looking at his game log. He has 2 games where you're happy you started him, maybe 3. Meanwhile, Garrett Wilson, it's probably every other. So I think you're playing the odds there and you're going with Garrett Wilson. And hopefully eventually we'll see Trevor Siemian. My goodness, this Tim Boyle, Zach Wilson.
We might see Aaron
amalgamation.
Rodgers soon, my friend.
Oh yeah,
I hope
geez,
not.
I'm not
hope
ready to
not.
get into that.
Yeah.
I don't think you're ready to get into that.
Yeah, I
Rich,
hope not.
So maybe a future Q&A show will address that.
That
I
is
agree with you
funny.
guys. Garrett Wilson, to me, is the easy play. He's getting an insane amount of volume regardless of who's quarterback. He did score a touchdown last week.
Yeah.
I can't. It's not much of a question. I get why you're asking that. It's not like Wilson's been lighting up the charts, but it's still an easy one for now. Definitely go Wilson. A little bit more context, and there are some super chats, so recognize I'll get to those shortly. Isaac says his only wide receivers are Romeo Doubs and DK Metcalf. One last thing, though. We need to know what your positions are, Isaac. How many running backs do you get to start? How many flex do you get to start? And then we'll come back to your original question.
Isaac's so nervous about his Niners. That's why he's
100%.
mind's all over the place.
100%.
Rachel Sinclair with the $10 super chat. Do you think the playoff ranking should change? I don't think any below 500 team should not get a home playoff game. We saw in 2020 with Washington and this year with NFC South. Your thoughts? So I love this. This is an NFL question.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah, we say fantasy
Yeah,
Q&A.
super
You want to
chat.
throw some? We will happily answer some questions. So I think she's upset that someone in the NFC South, currently sitting at 5-6, the Saints and the Falcons, one of those teams there's a decent chance they're going to get in with a losing record. And not only will they get in, but as she mentioned, they will have a home playoff game. Do we think this should change? Kevin, I'll let you start off with this one.
I honestly don't. I understand why people think that it should. And I definitely, like, from a competitive fairness standpoint, I understand. But in a sense of like being a traditionalist, I kind of like it and I kind of respect it. It's almost like the way the cookie crumbles sort of situation. Like, people talk all the time about, oh, dude, should every team play in a dome? Like, should we eliminate the elements from football? And it's like, it's part of the game. It's part of, how we've learned this game to be. And that sometimes your division is going to be the best in the league. Sometimes it's going to be the worst in the league. And that's kind of the way the pendulum swings. It just happens that the NFC South is always the worst. I think that's just where we're at
in recent years.
Yeah, in recent years. I remember there was a time when it was the East. There was a time when it was the NFC West. So it's just the way the cookie crumbles. Personally, other than horrendous officiating being part of the game, I think all the purest traditional ways that people want to change the game, I don't vote for. However, I've seen enough to where if you want to make an AI official, an AI ref, chip in the football, whatever, I'm sick of the zebras. But everything else, I'm fine with.
Yeah, I think if you do that, then you kind of kill the divisional rivalries, which are which make football all the more fun. So it would kind of make the divisional rivalries meaningless in a sense. So I think you have to keep that. Whoever wins the division should be rewarded in some way.
2 words: Beastquake. Let's go back to the first team.
I don't know what that is.
Well, you don't know what the
7-9.
Beastquake is?
No, what is that?
7-9 Seattle Seahawks. I believe it was 2010. Got in because they won the West. I think it's the first team to make it in the playoffs with a losing record. They beat the Seahawks in the wild card round. The Seahawks with Drew Brees, they had lost like 3 games all year. And the Beastquake, where literally the stadium shook enough to register on the seismic, whatever they measure on there. One of the most insane runs in NFL history. That shows you that any given Sunday, look, the rules are that you play in a division. And the one way you can get in the playoffs is if you win that division. If we get into but unless your record is above 500, you got to stick with the way it is. It sucks. There's going to be most years it's not going to be an issue. And I know it's annoying for fan bases of teams that are going to miss out. Like maybe would have had that 7th wild card spot, but their record isn't as good and they're losing out. I totally get that. But that's just, these are anomalies and we shouldn't change the whole NFL for them.
Can't believe I never heard Beastquake before.
Awesome term.
Beastquake.
Awesome.
It's got a whole Wikipedia page.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a whole YouTube. Just watch. There's so much
amazing.
research you can do.
Real quick, one more thing too, and playing a divisional team a third time, maybe perhaps playing a team in another division that doesn't have a great record, they might match up well against one of those top teams and surprise them. So
it's always that's why they play the game, right? Any given Sunday. I love it.
I said I wasn't going to get into the Aaron Rodgers thing, but the audience was like, screw you, I'm doing a super chat. So
let's get it.
The Lonely Casual Gaming. Do you see Aaron Rodgers coming back this season, Rich? We have to address it. I wanted to put it off, but
he is a superhuman. He's a meta-human. What do you think, Aaron? I was going to call you Aaron.
Everybody's
so excited
Aaron
I am.
Rich is mind right now.
He's
Are you
gonna come
excited though?
back.
Are you excited? Like as a Jets fan?
Listen, as a Jets fan, look, I'm a foolish Jets fan because I still hold out hope that, well, they're not technically eliminated. So, I mean, if they could string together, they have a good defense. If they can somehow string together wins, which I don't know that it's going to happen, but if Aaron Rodgers comes back and they're still mathematically in it, then that would be exciting. I don't feel safe about him coming back, though. That's my only concern is I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But if they're telling him he's fine and he looks good out there, then who am I to tell him not to play? But I don't know, man. I think he's going to try to. I don't see the sense, though. If they're mathematically eliminated, I don't see the sense in risking it.
Yeah, so I'm definitely inclined to agree with you, Demon. And my take on it is like, I don't think there's any value from like a football or like increasing the Jets winning percentage, like to activating Aaron Rodgers right now. You kind of, I like what you said about stringing together wins because it's always possible, and they did it early in the season, so it wouldn't shock me if they did it again. But if they don't do it, which with all due respect, I'm not predicting that they do it. This almost feels like more of a gesture, more of like a symbolic thing, like. Get him out there, get him practicing again. It
feels like, honestly, it feels like he wants to just show people that he can do it and be the first person to do it. That's all it feels like. I don't know that it has anything to do with the team or anything other than, oh my God, Aaron Rodgers is awesome. Look at him. He's out there playing.
Yeah, and we've come to know him as the attention-seeking guy that he is. I still have a lot of respect for him on the field. But
me
this
too.
kind of feels a little bit like antics to me, personally.
Yeah, my answers, you guys both covered them. 2 answers to this. That's why I said answers plural. 1, I don't think he should. Like, should he and will he? Should he? I don't think he should. I think, Rich, you're right. There is no upside, and there's a hell of a lot of downside. You still have a great roster that are mostly going to be intact next year. Why would you risk 2024 for the sake of a pointless run? But number 2, do I? Yes, I do. I think Aaron Rodgers wants to prove to the entire world that he is superhuman, and he's going to do it. Advice be damned. So those are the 2 answers there.
Only Kevin would have a baseball cup on a football show.
You like that? I'm wearing a hockey sweater too.
Awesome. Where's the Bills hat, man?
I love sports.
Third grade.
I don't know who
science
the Bills
class,
are.
safety glasses, hockey shirt, and a baseball. Dude, he's
like a mad scientist.
One of my
he looks
days.
like Thor. He's got the Thor look.
He does look like Thor. He looks.
I'll take it. That's a nice compliment.
On the fantasy Q&A show. We have a super chat just for a comment.
Tough,
dude. Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. Wants to say that he's given up on Pick'ems 24-60. I'll say this.
That's tough.
Dude's had a rough time. He's had a rough time.
If you want to tail me, I have a 61% winning percentage. I had nearly 70% last year, so a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Just go and follow @_legitfootball. And I make my weekly pick'ems or straight up pick'ems every week.
Dude, he's annoyingly good at this.
He is.
Honestly.
And I hate to admit it, but if he stopped picking Buffalo, he'd be better.
All right, so let's get back to the questions. We have a lot queued up. So we got some additional context from Isaac. So we're gonna pull this one back up.
Let's go.
There's a bunch of stuff that came in, so let me see if I can find it.
Appreciate the chat, man. You guys are popping tonight. Love it.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
So he's got 2 running backs and 1 flex.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
All right, so 2 running backs, 1 flex. So let's go back to the original.
And we know he can't flex a receiver because he only has 2. Which, Isaac, get more receivers on your team.
Dobbs, and I don't remember who the second one is. So we know that so he has to start 3 of these, basically. 3 of these 4, 2 in the running back position, 1 in the flex. Kev, I'll let you start. So we got Breece Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco, and DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, so it's definitely not the best matchup for DeAndre Swift this week. San Francisco is a phenomenal defense, so I'd probably rule him out. Gibbs has been red hot, so I like throwing him in there and just going for upside. Pacheco, probably not a bad play either because he's been falling into the end zone. I believe he had 2 touchdowns last week. And then I'll do it for my boy Demon. Like, it's not, see, this is how you know, like we got mutual love, but one of us uplifts the other one and the other one, like,
because Breece Hall is so much better than James Cook, though. That's the only reason.
James Cook's like 3rd in the NFL in total yards, but it's fine.
Okay,
yeah, we'll go with Breece Hall just because I like his talent.
Why do they keep giving the ball to Latavius Murray then?
Yes.
Good question.
Yes. Yeah.
Good question.
And Ty Johnson, by the way.
I actually like Ty Johnson. I like what I'm seeing from Ty Johnson, but Latavius I've seen enough of. Throw playoff Lenny out there. But Hall, Gibbs, and Pacheco is my answer.
Yeah, I would go Hall, Gibbs, and Pacheco. I wouldn't hate if you started Swift over Pacheco, though. It is a tough matchup, though. But I would go Hall, Gibbs, and Pacheco.
I would go Hall, Gibbs, and Swift.
Yeah.
It's not a slam dunk, but I just think that Swift has shown the ability. He's going to get the touches and a team that wants to run the ball. I know they're playing the Niners. Yes, it's a tough matchup, but the Niners aren't necessarily a brick wall against the run.
Yeah.
And with that pass rush, there could be a lot of dump offs where Jalen Hurts just wants to get the ball out before Nick Bosa, Chase Young, and company get to him. So we could see, we know that Swift likes to catch balls out of the backfield. Pacheco doesn't catch as many balls. He's more just like a crazy straight line juggernaut type running back. There's a little comic reference for you. And then Hall and Gibbs are kind of the easy ones. Yeah. All right. We got Matthew Drynan saying Brandon Cooks or Romeo Doubs, Rich.
Brandon Cooks. Because Romeo Doubs has Jordan Love throwing him the football.
Stop it.
Stop it. He went there.
He's a QB1 right now. He's like QB9 in fantasy.
Let's see. It's going to come. You hear the sound of that? That's him falling to earth soon against the Giants this week. Now, Brandon Cooks,
Chiefs.
Because
they don't play the Giants. Get your schedule right. If he fell to earth against the Giants, you'd be
next
right.
Monday night. That's what I was thinking about. I'm sorry. No, I like. I'm going to go Brandon Cooks because Dallas looks legit. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. They look scary, and they just pour it on. They just pour it on. If they take an early lead, they're going to keep passing the ball. They're just going to keep trying to put points on the board. So I'm going Brandon Cooks.
Yep, I want to take it back to the first time Demon. It was before the Cowboys even had a blowout win this year, and Demon was like, they're going to want to pummel teams. Like that's who they are. That's their DNA. Yeah. Like, and we've seen it time and time again this year. They don't just coast once they have a lead. They want to stick it to you. And Brandon Cooks has been a waiver wire darling for McFadden and I on the Tuesday show. And it's now time that he becomes a fantasy Q&A darling. He's crossed over. He's officially a fantasy start. Throw Brandon Cooks in your lineup over Doubs, no question.
How did he do last week? I actually am not.
Scored a touchdown.
He did score a touchdown. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. All right. Then yeah, go Cooks. I like Doubs. I drafted him in multiple dynasty leagues. He is a little touchdown dependent though. Say what you want about Jordan Love. He has spread the ball around. A lot of people getting targets in that office. Christian Watson finally looking a little bit better. Doubs actually is tied for like third or fourth in the NFL in touchdown receptions, believe it or not, but he's not getting a ton of yards. I think he's only averaging like 35 yards, but he's got 7 or 8 touchdowns. So as much as I like Doubs, I don't like depending on people who are touchdown dependent. Cooks is getting a lot more volume in that high flying Cowboys offense. 127 Lasher, Nico Collins or Mike Evans this week, Kev?
Yeah, so Nico Collins is always an interesting play because of the CJ Stroud upside. So, I love starting Nico. Remind me again, who do the Bucks play? We covered it earlier, but I already forgot.
Bucks play don't they play the Panthers?
Oh, yeah. So if they play the Panthers, I don't think they
have the Panthers. Yeah, so it's at home. It's in Tampa Bay, host the Panthers.
So that's pretty interesting because the Panthers are really bad at stopping the run more than anything. So if you want to attack the Panthers, usually it's on the ground. But Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield have insane chemistry, and he feels like a weekly lock for a touchdown at this point. So, I think I'll go with the safer floor play because Nico's bottomed out at times this year. He's been relegated at times to an ancillary role when Tank Dell and Noah Brown and Robert Woods and Dalton Schultz and Devin Singletary, when they're rolling, that's the thing with the Texans offense. They're kind of a pick your poison. So I think Mike Evans is more likely to get a big chunk of the work for Tampa, and I'll go with Mike Evans.
Yeah, I'm going with Mike Evans too for the reason Kev said. Nico Collins has bottomed out this year. Mike Evans hasn't, and I don't see any reason why he should.
He's a clear-cut. He's the clear-cut receiver, whereas Nico Collins, Tank Dell, I think is kind of becoming that, but we've seen Noah Brown have big weeks. We've seen Nico Collins have big weeks. Dalton Schultz getting more involved, where it's pretty much just Mike Evans. Even Godwin hasn't produced much. Baker loves throwing to Evans, so even though his matchup isn't great, I'm going to agree with both of you guys and say Mike Evans. We got a QB question from Broncos fan 97. Trevor Lawrence or CJ Stroud? Rich, I kind of think I know where you're going with this based on earlier comments, but
CJ Stroud. Anybody who has like long blondish hair, I'm just a little tentative to. Oh, sorry about that.
Not the best.
Completely not related to anybody on this show.
No, Trevor Lawrence has been so inconsistent. CJ Stroud's been a beast. That's really all you need to know.
Yeah, can't disagree with Demon there. I mean, the Jags have the Bengals on Monday night, which profiles to be. It would have been a better game if we had Burrow, right?
Yeah.
The Browning experiment might make it so that the Jags get out to an early lead and coast. Jags are one of the best teams in the AFC. There's no question. So I think CJ Stroud has the ceiling here. I'd go with Stroud.
Yeah, I agree. I for exactly those reasons. I think that the Jags will get a lead. Probably be a pretty good ETN game.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling this Broncos team is resurgent. I think this is going to be a real duel between the Broncos and the Texans, and the Texans are going to need to pass. So I'm also going to agree and go with CJ Stroud. Who would have thought that before the season started, after all the S2 drama, that we would be doing
So
Stroud
silly.
over the chosen
So
one,
silly.
Trevor Lawrence. Isaac, another question. My wide receiver 2 options are Gabe Davis, Zay Flowers, and Romeo Doubs. Also, I got Metcalf. Who should be the wide receiver 2 moving forward, and how bad is his wide receiver room, Kevin?
Yeah, it's not the best wide receiver room. Metcalf and Gabe are ceiling options, but they're inconsistent. Dobbs is kind of like we talked about, not a yardage guy, relies on touchdowns. Touchdowns are not sticky stats, so you have to be careful. I think Zay Flowers is your answer here because the Ravens offense is starting to soar in ways that we haven't seen it soar. No Mark Andrews means there's a huge target void. And Zay Flowers had the coming out party really on Sunday Night Football with the horrible touchdown celebration and all. I love Zay Flowers.
I like the penalty kick one. I thought
that one was a lot. Yeah, and I didn't even mind
the bouquet toss one,
but Lamar just
bad.
Canceling him was just so fun. Lamar just shaking his head and was so funny.
Did you see the press conference after?
Where Lamar said it was.
Lamar straight up told him it was a horrible. It was a horrible.
Loved it.
Dance,
I love all Zay Flowers celebrations aside. I'm taking him.
Yeah, I'm going with Zay Flowers too. Again, that DK is tempting, but that quarterback play is pretty bad. So I'm going to go with the quarterback here. Zay Flowers is a great talent also. He might not see heavy volume even without Mark Andrews there. They are a candidate to maybe get Zach Ertz also. So, that could be in play as well.
I have a feeling he'll be at Philly, right? Doesn't it just feel like he's
going to imagine he goes to Kansas City. That'd be interesting, right? They run 12 personnel in Kansas City. But I like Zay. I like Zay for that reason.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Zay Flowers, the talents there, the opportunities. I think they're only going to find ways to get the ball in his hands, and he has been electric. So this was not it's not a question, but Kevin, you were so wrong about our offense. It's not high flying.
Who's offense?
SG is a Ravens fan. Big time Ravens fan.
Looked pretty darn good last couple games.
And also wanted man, Demon isn't wary of people with long blonde hair. He's just wary of people with hair.
I have hair. I just shave it. I mean, how hard is that to understand?
Just on this side instead of
this side. You guys
this
want me
side.
to grow it out? Because I can grow it longer than Kevin if you want.
That was just not necessary. I was catching straight.
Kevin defending me. That was awesome.
Of course. It's the most toxic relationship we have.
Alabama, Georgia. So many Stroud questions. Yeah. Should I start CJ Stroud or Justin Herbert, Rich?
I'll take this before you throw it to Kevin.
Yeah.
I just said I was ready to throw it.
You've taken this question several times.
Yeah. I do not trust Justin Herbert. I don't. I have my next skit, I reference this Los Angeles Chargers being blue kryptonite and him being Bizarro. So he is just in that. I don't know what's going on. I love the talent. I think he's a great quarterback. I just think where he is hindering him. So CJ Stroud all the way for me.
Yeah. The streets need the skit, by the way. Is that out?
It's coming out.
Okay, I was going to say I'm going to need. I need a link. But this is kind of weird because I'm super pro Stroud. You guys know that. I got him in our dyno. I'm like the biggest Texans truth through McFadden. I said they would make a run this year. Prior to the season, I feel really smart about that. That's like my Galaxy brain take from the year. But I kind of feel like Herbert against the Patriots, they've had such a lid on them. I kind of feel like they're just like Mentos and Diet Pepsi in a bottle, just waiting to, erupt, right? Baking soda and vinegar, right? Like I feel like the Chargers offense, it's time, right? And who better to take it out on than Belichick, who everybody wants to take it out on. I don't know. I kind of feel like Herbert. Even though, again, I'm probably one of his biggest detractors, and I've been saying not top 5 for 2 seasons now, but I kind of feel like I would take him in this matchup. I kind of feel like that's a sort of a slam dunk. I think he'll have 300 yards. I think he'll have 2 touchdowns. I kind of think he's the safer play this week because Stroud is facing such a talented Denver defense.
Oh, I forgot Rich already gave my answer. I'm going to go Stroud. I mean, yeah.
Do you feel me though? Like, do you get?
No,
you
I do. It's actually the Patriots defense, which has been there's still been a solid defense. They're not winning games, but it really hasn't been because of their defense. They haven't been the show-stopping defense of Belichick's past, but they're still a top 10 defense in most metrics. Where we talk, and the Broncos defense has been excellent lately too. They're actually a top 10 defense over the past few weeks. But I just like the volume. I think Stroud.
Yeah.
It's not a slam dunk, and all things equal, I think Stroud's going to get more opportunities. I trust Bobby Slowick as a play caller more than I trust Kellen Moore at this point. So I got to go with that.
For sure.
Armand, Kevin should shave his head if the Bills don't make the playoffs.
I'm down with that.
Like that.
Why do you say if? Why do you say if? Like they even have a chance? Like, let's be real.
Have you already given up? Is it?
I'm closer to giving up than I've ever been in the last 5 years.
I'm gonna clip that and just go to bed listening to that.
Please, actually, please do. No, I'm telling you, I've been feasting on tears of opposing fan bases for 6 years. You guys are due.
Oh, he has to get a little shout in there, right?
I'll fill up some jars. I'll send them.
You're gonna drink it out of both the cups that you have there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Chris Butter with the first all caps question of the night. Would you trade Bijan and Tank Dell for AJ Brown, Kevin?
No, I would not. AJ Brown he's a great player. He's been a little inconsistent. Let's be real. Like, he's kind of gotten at times, I don't want to say phased out. I think he might be take the top off the defense decoy type player, but Devontae Smith has been a lot more consistent lately. Dallas Goedert's coming back. Yeah, I love AJ Brown, and in a vacuum, I would maybe think about this, but Bijan's getting ready to surge. Tank Dell is getting ready to have a top 10 wide receiver finish. So
he's wide receiver 11 on the season right now, guys.
Yeah, so he'll move up that one.
And he missed essentially 2 games with an injury.
Yeah, I like where your head's at, Chris Butter. You should be looking for ways to improve your team with 2-for-1 swaps, but you're giving up more than you're getting here, in my opinion.
And Arthur Smith finally using Bijan the way he's supposed to be. Yeah. Like, earlier in the season, this probably would have been like, yeah, go for it right now. And Rich, feel free to disagree, but I think this is a hard no.
No, yeah, I would Tank Dell for AJ Brown straight up. I would think, maybe not. I don't know about that. That's not a slam dunk for me. Right. You throw Bijan on it, and you can throw pretty much anybody on there, and I'd probably say, I'm taking the Bijan side. One little note about Arthur Smith, though, I still don't trust him. I would not be surprised if Bijan got no touches this week. So I do love what we saw. Yeah,
knock on wood, please.
I love what we saw last week, but I don't trust him. I'm still starting Bijan, but just temper your expectations.
Tyler Wayner, brother of Anthony. Tyler Lockett, Rashid Shaheed, or DeAndre Hopkins in flex, Mr. Demon.
Rashid Shaheed might not play, right?
Right.
I think
he's banged up. Let me see if there's a status update.
But if it's Shaheed, if Shaheed's playing, I'm going to go Shaheed if he's running. But if not, I'm going Hopkins.
I'm inclined to. I think I might go with Hopkins either way.
Yeah.
Just because Shaheed is so up and down, hit and miss. He's so I would say boom.
But Olave's out, that's the only.
Shaheed back-to-back do not practice.
But Olave
is practice yesterday.
Practicing, I think. Olave
is practicing.
Oh, is he?
He hasn't cleared concussion protocol yet, but he is practicing.
So it'll be interesting to see. I would definitely sit Lockett no matter what. Unfortunately, Lockett killed fantasy managers who were, full of Thanksgiving turkey, settling in to watch their boys score them some points, and he just had a nightmare game. So I think I love the chemistry that DeAndre Hopkins and Will Levis have. Weekly bet for a bomb touchdown. I'd go with Hopkins either way.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Shaheed, maybe even if he was playing, I would go with Hopkins here. He's getting the volume. Levis loves looking his way. And they have a division matchup at home. And guess what? The Titans have not lost in Nissan Stadium in Tennessee. The one home loss they had was technically in London. So I think you're going to have a decent game for Hopkins there.
Now listen to the 2 guys with the hair.
Thomas Bray, member of the Legit Football family, does our graphics.
Love this guy.
Focused on next season in one league and only have 1 loss in another. Amari Cooper or Christian Kirk in the flex, Kev?
I love that he wanted to clarify. Like, he's like, hey, guys, like, I know we're on a league together and I know I'm in the basement, but in another league, though.
Focus on next season of one league. Is the league where he's
Thomas's-
fighting for the number one pick.
This is Thomas's girlfriend who goes to another school right here. I think I'll probably Christian Kirk has been unbelievable this year, and he was left for dead during draft season. So I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that I really like Christian Kirk this year. I'd go with Christian Kirk personally.
Yeah, I think I would go Christian Kirk. I haven't been big on Amari. I'm not that I've been big on Christian Kirk, but I've been bigger on him than I have been on Amari Cooper this year. So, yeah.
Guys, Joe Flacco might be throwing to Amari
Right.
Cooper this week.
That's part of it.
That tells you everything
part
you
of
need
it.
to know.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Go with Christian Kirk. He's had some big games, so we always know that he's up for that in this Jags offense. Might not be this week, but Cooper actually, he did start practicing again, but he was banged up with his ribs. I would definitely go with Kirk here.
We love you, Thomas. Good to see
Alabama, Georgia, Smith, Ford, or Ridley at flex. I'm assuming that's Devontae Smith, Jerome Ford, and Calvin Ridley, Rich.
I might ride the Calvin Ridley train. I just might see. I just might continue that and see.
That train might go off the tracks and kill
you. It might
you,
go off the tracks,
right.
yeah. But
could be fun.
I don't love the Devonta Smith matchup. I'd love the talent over Calvin Ridley, but I think I might chase the points. I tell people not to do that, but I might actually do it.
I don't know. I don't know. Ridley he's got to be in contention for like one of the bigger busts of the fantasy season, right? Like he's got.
Yeah, but he's coming. I mean, he's on a little bit of a hot streak though.
Yeah, two in a row, right?
Yeah.
2 in a row.
So I try to forget what happened in the past, and
Jerome Ford has been kind of weirdly consistent. RB17, RB23, RB18, RB22 against the Rams. Honestly, Devontae Smith might be. I don't even know why I'm even thinking about it. I think Devontae Smith, he's been on such a heater. I think I might go with Devontae Smith. I know the Niners are a scary matchup, but I don't know if they're scary enough to scare me off of what he's been doing lately. So I think I'll go Devontae Smith.
I'm going to ride the heater. I'm going to stick with Ridley here. He's got a really nice matchup against a Bengals secondary that was not all that great even when Burrow was there. So really like the opportunity he has.
No love for Devonta.
I think Ford's only got like 2 touchdowns this year, right? I don't think he's.
Yeah, they're giving all the short yardage work to Kareem Hunt, who was unemployed for half the season. So
yeah,
got another super chat. Isaac Mesa, Puka or Charbonnet in the flex demon.
This is easy for me. Puka, like hands down. Zach Charbonnet is, to me,
he's actually RB1. I mean, Walker's not going to be playing tonight.
He is RB1, but I think he's also hot garbage. So I like Puka.
Hot garbage RB1 is still RB1.
Yeah, he'll get some work tonight for sure, but I think Puka's the obvious choice. Just ceiling and floor, I think, are both with Puka.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm Puka. Yeah, bad matchup, but they both have bad matchups. You might as well go with the guy who is still a top 10 wide receiver technically because he started the season so hot. All right. Back on the Aaron Rodgers train. Should I bench Aaron Rodgers or keep him on IR? Rich, I'll start with you again on this one.
I would like a little more, Anakin, I would like a little more context on this, but if you're in a super flex league, you're absolutely keeping him. If it's a super flex like Dynasty League, you're absolutely keeping him on IR. If this is a 1 QB league, I mean, if you have someone else that you can move to IR, that like a Mark Andrews that might come back for a playoff run or something, I would absolutely rather have Andrews on the IR. But in a 1 QB league, I don't think you need to be holding on to him.
Yeah, and I'm also kind of the mindset of like, it's weird because like when you see a player is like no longer eligible for IR, or like when you see like it's the same with like Taxi Squad and Sleeper when you're like, oh, I'm getting interested in this player or whatever. For me, I have to go to the nth degree. Is there a legitimate path for this player to my starting lineup in the next 3 weeks? And if there's not, then don't bother burning the spot. Don't bother burning the bench spot. And if it comes to a point where you have to force your hand and it's not a dynasty, just cut him. Like Demon said, if it's a 1 QB league, I don't even think he's worth holding on to. You might start him 1 week. Like, who are the Jets playing in the fantasy playoffs? How good is he going to be off a torn Achilles? There's a lot of variables that would go into Aaron Rodgers seeing not only the field in real life, but also your starting lineup in fantasy. So in my opinion, don't force the issue. If you can keep him on your IR, do it. But if not, then sayonara.
Yeah, 100% agree. There's no reason to have Aaron Rodgers on your bench. Either keep him on your IR or cut him. He's not even cleared for contact. Yes, he's practicing. Yes, his window has been open, but he's not fully cleared for contact. There are steps he needs to go through. This is unprecedented. Don't take any crazy risk, especially this close to the playoffs. Alabama, Georgia again. I have both Puka and Cup. Should I start them? I'm guessing he means start them both, Kevin.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. Normally I would. Like, I love them both. They're both good players. In a vacuum, they're both fine starts on their own, but it's kind of been a little bit of one or the other this year. We haven't seen a ton of games where they both go off. So also Cup with his health this year. Another one I talked about, Calvin Ridley being one of the biggest fantasy busts of the season. Cooper Kupp is right up there in contention with him. Unfortunately, I would not start them both. And I would, weirdly enough, lean on starting Puka right now myself.
I couldn't say it any better. Kevin covered it all.
Ditto. We're just going to say ditto and move on. We got a lot of questions.
Good answer. Good answer.
Charlie Manitakis, would you start Ridley against the Bengals or James Conner at Pittsburgh, Rich?
I would start Ridley against the Bengals. I just think he has the higher ceiling. I'm not crazy about Conner at Pittsburgh. So, yeah, I would go Ridley.
Yeah, it's hard to run on the Steelers. Their weakness is their secondary. Meanwhile, Ridley's on a heater, as you guys have said. I think Ridley's the play. Pretty easy.
I think I saw a stat. The Steelers didn't allow a single first down to a running back last week. It was the only team in the NFL to not allow a first down rushing to a running back. So I think that tells you everything. And Conner hasn't been as good since he came back from IR, whereas Ridley is on the heater that we referenced earlier. So we're in alignment here. Go with Calvin Ridley. OGJ Dragon 91, start 2, Swift, Eckler, Warren, Kevin.
Yeah, so, man, the Austin Eckler stuff is heartbreaking, is it not? Another one. I'm not saying bust.
Hey Kev, how old was he? I'm just curious.
He's doing it to me on the air too. No, it's fair. It's fair. Eckler,
that is fair.
Does appear to be
28.
He does appear to be.
The charts work.
The charts might work.
Pick him out, Brian. Show him
bro,
to
charts, bro.
Screen share the charts.
I will never live that down. I was roasting and I was trying to be funny, but Demon thought it was too funny. It was. So, yeah, you know what? Swift is in a tough matchup. Eckler is in a matchup that he should be able to exploit, right? Like, if you have Austin Eckler on your team, you drafted him for games like this. It doesn't feel good to say with how things have been going, but I think I would start Eckler and probably Warren just because, man, how fun is he to watch? Man, how fun of a player is he to root for and watch?
I feel like I would start Warren and Swift. I actually think that's the safer combo because the Chargers are just
the Eckler stuff.
That's all
man.
I can
You're
say.
Yeah.
Me.
Your charts
it hurts me to say that, but I'm gonna go with the eye test here and Warren and Swift. You know,
I gotta agree with Demon. It's not just eye test. The charts agree.
The charts agree. Yeah,
the charts and the eyes are
and
aligned.
It's fair.
I really like what Jaylen Warren has been able to do, and they've been giving a lot more opportunities. And we mentioned earlier why I actually like Swift as a play against a tough Niners defense. So I'm going to say Swift and Warren. Austin Eckler, love the guy. He's the biggest champion for fantasy amongst active NFL players. But for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, because of his age and injuries, he's not as good.
Charts, yeah.
Speaking of NFL players in general, Charlie Manitakis again says, have you guys met any NFL players? And if you guys did, who was the most down to earth? Rich, we'll start with you on this.
I did. I almost met Chad Pennington, but they didn't want to approach him because it was at a restaurant. So I just stared at him for a while, and he seemed like a nice enough guy. But I waited
played for both of our teams, Pennington, Dolphin, and Jet.
Yeah. I'll tell you the nicest athlete. I can't, for some reason, I'm drawing a blank on NFL players, but the nicest athlete I met was Dominic Hasek, the Buffalo Sabres former goalie. He was really nice when I was a bartender.
The second hockey reference.
We've gone, I think, 500 pods with 0 hockey references. We have 2 in one episode, and they're both Sabres. I'll take it.
When I was a bartender back in the day, he came in with a bunch of guys, and he couldn't have been nicer, man. So.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You guys know I sent it in the legit group chat. It was a big moment for me, but I went to a pop-up podcast shoot for Steve Tasker this year. Bill's special teams ace from the Super Bowl runs was so nice. Signed a football for me. Realizing that he was there for the hour shooting a podcast, I went and bought another autographed football. Had him sign the t-shirt on my back. He couldn't have been nicer. Steve Tasker is number one. I've met Jim Kelly before. He was really nice as well through the football that he signed to me, so I could like catch it. Pretty cool.
No,
stuff.
that's cool.
Pretty cool stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. A lot of love for my Bills legends. A lot of players. Ryan Fitzpatrick was awesome, really nice. I shouted out his 98-yard touchdown pass to Terrell Owens. I bet you didn't know that. Was a little fun Bills history nugget, but that's a great question. Appreciate the question, Charlie. Brian, I'm sure you got some good ones though.
I've met a number of NFL players. I have also met Steve Tasker. Great guy. I was on a Zoom with him, a group Zoom, and just got to ask him a lot of questions. We got to hang out with him for a good 45 minutes to an hour.
He's great.
But I gotta say, I met Fred Warner in person. Legit football two drafts ago. We sponsored a 49ers draft party with 49ers Rush, and Elijah Mitchell was supposed to be there. I didn't get to meet him, but I did get to meet Fred Warner. And this guy, first of all, he looks as imposing as you can imagine, but he was just the nicest, completely different than what you would expect one of the best middle linebackers in the NFL to be. So though I've met a number of them, I'm going to have to say Fred Warner, just because it was just such an awesome interaction.
That's awesome.
Willie K, who should I start? Nico Collins or Jahan Dotson, Kev?
Yeah, Jahan Dotson is tough, man. Like there's so much.
Glad I didn't trade him.
Yeah, there's so much
with you.
There's so much to go around in that passing attack.
Yeah,
and it never seems to go to him or Terry McLaurin. It's ridiculous. It's a Samuel game. It's a Thomas game. It's a running backs game. I'm sick of playing Commanders roulette. 100% Nico Collins. It's easy for me.
100% Nico Collins as well.
Yeah. Nico Collins. Not even. Don't even second guess it.
Yeah.
Somebody pull up the Takeda. Okay.
We're killing it. Yeah. I'm not mad at it. It's a good bit. Bit. I would like to point out. I don't know if
you have to read the comment.
You have to read it, Kevin.
Kevin, I once had a cashier with the same amount of Super Bowl wins as most Bills. LMAO. Nice, Takeda.
I've met a lot of cashiers that have the same amount of wins as the Bills.
This show has the same amount of Super Bowl wins
combined between the three of us. No, I just would like to point out. I don't know. Look, I'm a little I'm not young by any stretch, but I'm a little younger than you guys. I don't know if you guys were alive when the Jets won a Super Bowl, so I don't think it's really fair that we act like they are champs.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
They have a ring, right? That I can hang my hat on that I wear to cover up
Dolphins have a bunch, not in my lifetime.
Not in my
lifetime. Went
lifetime.
to the Super Bowl when I was
None
4.
Of the three of us. So the jokes are for all of us. Send some their way.
If that makes you feel better.
Another super chat. Sam White gave Kenneth Walker and Stroud for Kamara. Have Kyler. Thoughts? Rich, we'll start with you. So he traded Kenneth Walker and CJ Stroud for Alvin Kamara. So a 2-for-1 deal. He already had Kyler.
If this is a 1 QB league, I don't mind it because the way Kamara's been, especially if it's a PPR league. But I don't know that I still don't know that I would have traded Stroud. I don't love what Kenneth Walker's been doing, but I mean, I don't think it's a terrible move. I just don't think it's a move I would have made.
Yeah, I love Kamara, but I can't get behind it, unfortunately. Stroud has too much potential. He could be like he could go on a QB1 run. So unfortunately, Sam, I don't love the move. Also the fact that you lost Kenneth Walker too. I think it's a double whammy. No offense. Fantasy is about taking risks, and Kyler's great. He's going to be a fine start down the stretch. Now you have Kamara, who's a PPR machine. If it's PPR, I like it a little better. Yeah, but I probably wouldn't have done it either way. No offense. Yeah,
my only question is what is the stat or the settings for QB scoring? If it's not that different, like for instance, if it's only 4-point passing touchdowns, there's a smaller difference between Kyler and Stroud. And I think there's a pretty big difference, especially in PPR, between Kenneth Walker and Alvin Kamara. If the rest of your roster is good, so you kind of need to consider roster management. On its face, no, I don't love it. But if it's like just a low scoring QB league, and so you're just taking a small little hit at QB for a pretty big jump at running back, that's something to consider. Bravens 1. What do you think of Keaton Mitchell, late season waiver wire pickup or getting outshined by Edwards, Rich?
I think Keaton Mitchell is explosive. I think they need to give him more, but stop making him try to run up the middle. I think they need to kick it outside with him a little more because of his speed. But outshined by Edwards, I don't know. I mean, Edwards is the guy who's going to get the touchdowns. But Mitchell has he's like a Devon A-Chain light as far as I'm concerned, where, he can just take it to the house and rip off an 80-yard run at any point. So that's tough to not feed if you're the Ravens, that type of potential. So I think he's a great talent. I don't think he's getting outshined by Edwards. I just think Edwards is the goal line vulture.
Got to give credit where credit is due. That was a darn good answer.
Thank you.
Brian and I compared Keaton Mitchell his first week of waiver wire eligibility to Devon Achane. And I agree, Demon, if they would start using him like the Dolphins use Devon Achane, sweeps, end arounds, those little pitches. I don't know what they're called, where it's like not a toss, but it's more like a pitch. When it's like they're next to him.
That's called a toss.
Is it no, I swear the toss is underhand, right? That's something else. They do the little like option, like
it's still a toss. It doesn't have like a fancy
toss.
Is my point is there's no different
was under
name
the
for
impression
it.
Tosses had to be underhand. It doesn't matter.
Toss pigskin. Technically, a toss can be overhand. Come on.
But I digress. Regardless of what it's called, if they would use Keaton Mitchell in that environment more, I think it would be a lot better for him. Seeing them slam him up the middle the way they do Gus feels like pointless and a waste of his potential. But I do think that they will figure it out. I do believe that. So I think Keaton Mitchell's a great pickup. Good job, David.
I will say he got better usage than he has all season last game, Sunday night against the Chargers. So I think that's a sign of things to come. I think they want to get him more involved. If they use him the right way, like you guys mentioned, I do think he is worth a waiver wire pickup. At Ravens, if he is on your waiver wire, you need to stash Keaton Mitchell.
He should be on somebody's roster.
Right. Yeah. He could explode over the next 2 weeks and be the kind of guy that wins you the fantasy playoffs. So, yes, absolutely stash him.
I'm watching Kevin drinking out of 2 cups. Like, what is he doing? It's like back to back.
I got some lemonade. I got some water. I'm hydrating.
I was going to say, please tell me there's at least different beverages.
No,
separate water
I got a little lemonade, a little water. I like to be hydrated, keep the vocal cords nice.
Clearly. What happened to the safety glasses here? You're risking your life and limbs without those.
The sunset, it's not as harmful for my baby retinas, my baby blue retinas. We're good.
Whatever keeps you young and pretty, Kev.
I love that.
Josh Downs or Rashee Rice, Rich?
Ooh, I'm going Rashee Rice, but I don't hate Josh Downs.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to go Rashee Rice just because I like the offense better. But I wouldn't laugh at you if you started Josh Downs over him.
I absolutely love Josh Downs. One of the legit, our whole podcast, Brian, was just so high on him coming out. He's landed in a great home. Him and Gardner have great chemistry. Rashee Rice is on a bit of a tear. He's coming back. Like I said earlier, you've only been happy if you started Rashee Rice really twice all season. So yes, there's a mini breakout happening. I think I might like to see it a little bit more solidified before I buy into it. However, the Colts do play the Titans, and Mike Vrabel is just such a damn good coach. And he does keep guys ready to play despite their, how the team looks and whatnot. So,
but their secondary has been a liability all year.
And they shipped Byard out of town.
Run defense, right? That was before Kevin Byard left.
Yeah, so I'll probably go with Rashee Rice. But Downs is like Demon said, I would not be mad at it if you went with Downs.
So if you're looking at his fantasy points last week, Downs didn't do great, but he had like 12 targets.
Yeah.
So I'm all about Downs. I think he's got a much better matchup. Yes, I think Rashee Rice could be the clear-cut wide receiver 1 in KC, but until we see it multiple weeks, we have seen it multiple weeks from Downs. Like Minshew's targeted him like 8 to 12 times a game.
It's his favorite target.
That kind of volume alone is why I'm going to lead toward him. So I think I'm definitely going to go Downs on this. All right, we've got quite a few questions left. Let's try to get through. We're going to maybe stay on for about 10 more minutes.
Lightning round.
Fire. So we'll start with you on this one, Kev. Fast life, Doug. Jaden Reed or JSN? Need help, man.
I like JSN. I don't hate him tonight. Out of all the Seahawks receivers, he's the one I like the most. But I'd go with Jaden Reed because he's getting insane utilization lately.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't actually love JSN tonight, but I do love the player.
I like him more than the other two.
Yeah.
If we're talking dynasty, I'm JSN. If we're talking redraft this year, I'm talking Jaden Reed. Reed is banged up, didn't practice again today, something to monitor. But if they're both healthy, I'm going Jaden Reed. J Dragon 91 again. So as a Panthers fan, what head coach is going to want to work for meddling clown Tepper? Some hint Belichick. So I guess I thought it was a question, but I think he's just got a comment.
If you're going to get guaranteed $30 million for 6 weeks of work, that's a very tempting job, man.
Nice
job.
Not a bad, not great job security, but
good work.
Great financial security.
All right. So Isaac, Amari Cooper is available on waivers. Should I get him, Rich?
I mean, you need help at receiver.
He did tell us his receiver help
So
earlier.
I
Yes.
would say grab him. If he's the best receiver out there, then grab him.
Yeah.
Definitely somebody you would consider starting over some of those other guys that he
sure.
had from earlier. Fixelacan, I don't really know how to pronounce that. Brandon Cooks, Lockett, or JSN, Kev?
That's Brandon Cooks all day. That's Brandon Cooks all day. No brainer.
Easy one. Moving on.
Killing it.
We got so a bunch of repeat questions. The guy's like, I didn't answer my question. Let me answer it 3 more times.
I love it. No, I love.
I go down. I will get to it.
There's
if you want to get it answered, do the super chat. That's all I have to say. All right, Aaron Yaish need to start 3 running backs in PPR this week. I have Mostert, Swift, Pacheco, Ramondre, and Rashad White. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs. Rich, we need to choose 3 of them to start this week.
3 to start this week. Mostert, Swift, and Rashad White is who I'm going for.
It's that simple for you. There's no, I don't know. Ramondre's pretty interesting. And Swift has got a bad matchup. Mostert's banged up, Brian. Did you see that? Finally, we got a Mostert injury report.
Well, he's been on the injury report for a few weeks in a row. That's not new. But he's practicing in full. He's expected to play.
So he'll play. Okay.
With no limitations.
Yeah. If that's the case, then it's probably, it's got to be Mostert, Rashad White. And then I could go either way among the other 3. It's literally 33, 33, 33 for me on the other 3.
I say they Patriots have the Chargers, which is one of the worst run defenses in the NFL.
Yeah.
They're still the Patriots.
And Ramondre's a PPR machine.
You're right. Thank you for correcting it.
It's true.
That offense is just dreadful. We're going to get Bailey Zappi this week. Apparently,
God.
Mac Jones is like emotionally broken. Like, this is an actual quote that I've seen.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
He was never cut out for it.
Mostert, Swift, and Rashad White is who I would go for.
He's a snake in the grass, Mac Jones.
All right. This guy again, FX.
Same question.
Opponent has Dak at quarterback. Do I start? Oh, okay.
Still start Cooks. Oh, London's
he got
in
me
there now.
because he added some context onto the front.
And he threw London in there too. Do we throw London
or
over
London?
Cooks?
Okay.
That's a
London
good
against the Jets defense.
Oh yeah, true.
I mean, just get him out of there. He's not going to.
No. The Falcons are just going to run the ball against the Jets. The Jets are not good against the run.
Who Khalil Shakir put up 20 fantasy points against? Just saying. I don't know.
All right, we got a tight end question. Swag Messiah, which by the way is an awesome name. Jake Ferguson, Pat Freiermuth, or Taysom Hill, Rich?
Pat Freiermuth, because of the Canada-less Pittsburgh Steelers like resurgent offense.
That part.
So there we go.
Yeah, I'm going with that and make it nice and easy. Did we really just get through other questions? Oh,
there's no way. Did we? Oh, I was gonna say.
There was a lot of repeats, so I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything. All right,
we did.
Roman Paredes, Singletary, or Brandon Cooks at my flex, Kevin.
Damn, that's tough because we've been talking about how much we like Brandon Cooks all day, but Singletary's been one of the best backs in fantasy lately. I think it's worth a look. Denver's is just such a bad matchup, and I think Brandon Cooks is. I might just throw 20 on a Brandon Cooks anytime touchdown tonight, guys. What do you think? I like Brandon Cooks. Let's roll.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is a coin flip, honestly. I think that there's a good chance they can finish with roughly around the same points. So
you got an RB1, and I know Pierce came back, but Pierce got like less than 30% of the carries last week versus a wide receiver 2. Seahawks have some decent corners. I think I would go running back. I think I would go Singletary, but it's tight.
It's tight.
Wouldn't hurt you for either one. So I believe that's wrapped up. You got a number of people. Oh, here we go. We got a defensive question. There we go, Charlie Manitakis. Denver D against Houston or Colts D against the Titans. We will finish up with this one, Rich.
Colts D against the Titans because the Houston offense has been pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it wasn't until recently that CJ Stroud even found out what a turnover was. Yeah. So it's tough. I think you got to go Colts D against Titans, rookie QB. I think you could probably take advantage of that and get some points there.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I think that's the easy one. I was trying to find one last comment to end it on. We're gonna say Takedo's name. Rich gets the Zach Wilson.
Nice. Yeah, people they throw Zach Wilson at me as if I like him. And it hurts me, but no. Throw all the Zach Wilson hate you want out there, and I will just bathe in it.
I'm glad that he had another year to see what he had, and he's just not that guy. He's just not a good quarterback, and I'm glad that they didn't just burn a second overall pick on a one and done year. I'm glad that they gave him a chance to play out the string, and now they know. Move on. Rodgers for a year and then
I'll bet
figure
you're
it out
glad,
from there.
Kevin. I'll bet you're happy. Yeah.
You know, I am actually, honestly. It would have sucked if he was great, to be honest.
Rolled back the smile.
It would have
It
sucked.
was terrible.
On that note, let's
Yeah.
wrap it up. Thank you so much. We are doing this every Thursday, at least through the fantasy playoffs. Fantasy Q&A every Thursday for Pacific 7 Eastern. I believe, Rich, you're doing another stream for Thursday Night Football, correct?
Yes,
Nice.
starting at 8:15 tonight.
Nice.
So stick around for the Pro Football Demon channel, or if you're on the Legit Football channel, go over to the Pro Football Demon channel and listen to Rich rant about the Jets, even though they're not playing, because that's usually what it turns into. Make sure to check out. We get the Waiver Wire show every Tuesday with Kevin and I. Kevin, you had a point.
I have to
I'm in the middle of my plugs.
One of the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life was Demon watching the pick six on the Black Friday game, the pick six Hail Mary. The clip made its rounds on Twitter, and it was
right before I came on the show.
I felt his pain. It was the most I ever empathized with Demon in my life, because I was like, that's what it feels like to be a Bills fan, and it was him being a Jets fan. It was beautiful.
It hurt. It was painful. I do not care
Watching
about Black
him
Friday anymore.
go from,
Black
like,
Friday is the worst.
He was talking himself into the possibility that Tim Boyle could throw a Hail Mary touchdown, and then you watched it turn into, oh no, it's picked off and he's pissed, and then it turns into, this is going to be a touchdown for the other team, and it's an incredible minute of.
And then they were
viewing.
screaming.
It was
now. I
beautiful.
kind of wish I would have been on there at that point as a Dolphins fan, having
Please
the
go
complete
watch
opposite
it.
reaction, like yin and yang, just reversing course.
Yeah.
Oh, please go watch it. It's great.
All right.
I almost said the F word. All right, but go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. If you're here for the first time, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We'll be back next week. We did the Waiver Wire show on the YouTube, the Legit Football YouTube. It's every Tuesday at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Kevin and I just give our top 10 Waiver Wire picks.
Yep.
We'll be back Thursday. I should be on for the rest of these fantasy Q&As. They're always fun. The damn Hail Mary. That's a great way to end it as a Dolphins fan.
Doesn't get better.
Brian McFadden for Legit Football. We got Rich Jodice, the Pro Football Demon, and Safety Goggles Man. Kevin Phillip.
Thor, the mighty Thor.
The mighty
Bills.
Thor
just
in
undid it.
chemistry class.
Bills.
Make sure to stick around for Pro Football Demons live stream. Take care, guys. We will see you